This is my last official day. It's been a mad 6 weeks. Every day seems to have been more intense than the previous, trying to get things done. Hi, I'm Lowell Shepherd on board sailing vessel Wahine at Gypsy 402, and this is Pacific Solo. I'm preparing for the greatest challenge of my life, to sail solo across the North Pacific from Tokyo to Vancouver in June 2021. My journey will take me to the Great Pacific Garbage Patch and to the point farthest from land in any direction, a set of coordinates I call Nemo North. From there, I will turn towards Canada to reunite with my 92-year-old mother. And I want to take you on this voyage with me via this channel. So join me on this Pacific Solo expedition. When I bought the boat, the previous owner, Marcus, showed it to me. He says, whenever you get a new life raft, just blow that up, throw it in the water, see what happens. So it's always been in my mind to do it. I thought this is a good training exercise too, in terms of understanding the behavior of the life raft. I did some things wrong because I was doing it intuitively, and then I had to yank really hard to release the cylinder. That was probably the biggest mistake. It was a good experience. I'm waiting for the new life raft to be actually installed on the boat. I did a little plunge in the water as well, and that was kind of like a final baptism here. So it's my second polar bear swim of 2021. I'll be at the marina another 4 or 5 days, but has a visitor. What they're doing right now is really key for me. I've never used radar before. I've seen it on movies. So that's an important piece of equipment so I can sail offshore at nighttime. Know if there's any ships in the vicinity I should be mindful of. And some of the other boat owners, they want to be involved in a leaving ceremony, and they want to escort me out in their boats. Well, I've got the life raft. Essentially, I have all I need for this trip now. Just leaving Yamanoshima dock for the last time. A few friends came and saw me. They actually want to come out with me on their boats. Excited, anxiety, keeping in a positive frame of mind. I think the two things I've decided to look at positively is to make sure I don't go to the dark side of this rather than the bright side, and that is to experience two things. Leaving land behind and not seeing it anymore, and secondly, my first night at sea. I'm looking forward to those things. I'm also fearful of those things. I just need to go where the wind and the waves take me. So I'm being careful not to promise anybody anything. About to head off. We're going to just go to Oshima today. I still need to put in a third reef, and then that's a great jumping off point to go offshore tomorrow. Okay, well, I'm in Habu Harbor. There's a high wave advisory. And tomorrow night looks like could be my first night at sea if the conditions are right and I have to get this third reef sorted out. Good day because I learned things and I faced some mild adversity. I broached, I had to take over the helm. It was cold and wet, and closer to Oshima it got quite turbulent. The entry to the harbor was, it felt pretty sketchy at the time. So I'm here now, making a cup of noodle to warm myself up. I slept for 2.5 hours. It wasn't a pleasant sail. I did arrive cold, wet, and tired. I feel apprehensive, filled with self-doubt. A couple times a day question, am I in over my head? All the very well-intentioned people who are more experienced than me, who've questioned my assessment of risk for this journey, and Pacific Solo particularly, I heard all their voices today, and maybe they're right. Thank you, everybody, for supporting me. So there's a free onsen near here. I have to go with the bathing suit, which I have. Nemanja has an airport. Want to come by air. There's still occasional gusts. The dock is a fairly dangerous dock. I tied up against the wrong one. I took a lot of damage to lines last night. And this is a day to remember, March 11th. Okay, so we're about an hour out of Nijima. It is a nice day. Going between 3.5 knots and 5 knots. I'm having problems with the main sail. Well, I've just come out of a pretty turbulent rainstorm and waves with probably 50 meters visibility. The rain's still here. Visibility is probably now 300 or 400 meters. Still got 25 nautical miles to go. Thank you to all my friends. I'm going to head home and see my wife, who I've not seen for about 6 weeks. It's a 2.5 hour train ride from here. One thing I ruminated on a lot on the 27-hour is the difference between fear and terror. I would have been terrified at points. I think terror is debilitating. You go numb and you want to escape it. Whereas fear is more a companion that you work out your relationship with. If I'd gone to Okinawa, I'd have been adding on a huge layer that I think may have backfired on me. So while there are many scary moments on my 27-hour solo, I met the challenge every time in my head. I said to myself, Lowell, this is an endurance challenge. I know endurance. I've ridden in triathlons, hill races on bicycles. I've pedaled thousands of kilometers. My way of dealing with endurance is you break it down to intermediary steps. I divided this into 6-hour gaps. I left, I knew I'd have 6 hours till sunset, about 6 p.m. And then I'd have 6 hours of darkness to midnight, the ending on this day, which happened to be March 11th, a day to remember for us all in Japan. Then my third 6 hours would be midnight to 6 a.m., which I knew would be my toughest. My fourth 6 hours would be sunrise to noon, when I'd be getting close to my goal. And then the last 3 or 4 hours, and it turned out to be 4.5 hours, I would be coastline and entering harbor. It helped me cope with 30 hours, but out of the 27 hours, I was awake 25 and at the helm 25. Almost immediately when I arrived, the whole thing seemed surreal to me. And it's like I've been in the Twilight Zone. And so many snapshots of each of those 6-hour intervals. The blue skies and turquoise sea, the first 6 hours. The sun setting and then the ships for the next 6 hours. And I spent a lot of time studying lights, trying to determine what kind of vessel I saw. My radar, I learned a lot about. I kept checking it. I saw some strange lights I can't explain. One light looked like an orb that zipped up and down and sideways and then stopped and then seemed to track me for an hour. There was no moon but the stars staring at me. It was fantastic. And then when I got near the coastline, the swells grew and grew, and the biggest I've sailed in. And then I had to negotiate fishing nets and rocks. A couple times I thought the boat was going to get knocked down because of a big wave hitting and crashing. It was a remarkable 27 hours. There were certainly unpleasant, scary times. It's higher stakes. You just can't stop. But I'm grateful for every single minute of it.
You're not going to let the fear be the obstacle.
Autopilot doesn't work, the wind indicator doesn't work.
I can't really see clearly beyond it. Highs will be higher and lows will be lower.